A very difficult decision to make, but this man stayed with me during those times. So for many years, I moved back here in 2008, and it's now 2020. 2017, you moved here? 2018?
Yeah, 2017, October, yeah.
Weirdness would have it, his son, who was a young man when I met him, became an older man, imagine that, bought a house in Gilbert, Arizona, and said, Mom, Dad, move here from New Jersey. I want you to live in my house. His son and wife now live in LA, and Girish has this huge big house in Gilbert that he doesn't have to pay a thing for, so Girish and I like to both say we're homeless. I live with my guy that's there in the back of the room, and we've probably never been happier. But we're back together now, and for me as his student, even though we can study from afar, he leads lessons for students all over the world by way of internet. He'll be traveling to Paris or France in March, the Ukraine in April. We'll go to India the end of May and June. And then hopefully he'll stay home for a while and tend to folks here. But his life has been dedicated to the studies of yoga for his own, right? His own self-discovery. And in his process, he gives all this wonderful insight to others. It's beyond his calling, I'm going to say. It really is beyond his calling. You'll learn more about it's not his passion. We learn to become dispassionate, hopefully, in our yoga journey. But he truly has a gift and a skill. So, you guys today, from what I understand, already have a self-discovery experience. You already have a mindfulness practice. You're already on this path. So we're all in this shared interest, right? In this shared world of, wow, I want to know a little bit more. I want to encourage you to let your voice be heard today. So when Girish asks for questions and discussions, don't be shy, because all questions are valid. All questions are good on this path. Right? And you may not get the answer that you need or want or that you can consider right now, but that's the role of a teacher. He's going to give you what he feels is the right response and the right answer for you to go with, and then it's up to you to ponder that, right? Because a part of the process is that we have to apply the knowledge, and part of that is the contemplation of it all, right? We can't do anything unless we contemplate what's going on, right? And it's really, as you'll hear and as he teaches, it's really quite simple. We don't have to make it more difficult than it really is. So let's get out of our own way for the next whatever amount of time we have together and give it up for the master teacher. And please be a part of the process. Absolutely. Discuss and be a part of the process. Girish?
Thank you. Thank you, Casey, and thank you, Amy, inviting me. And thank you all. You have to tolerate me for 3 hours. Yeah. So it happened, the master had hundreds of students and he was teaching for a couple of years. So after teaching for a couple of years, he asked one question to all his students: who is most important in the journey of mindfulness or meditation? Can you guess who is most important? So one student said, it is the knowledge, no? Eastern wisdom, that is 6,000 years old tradition. We have more than 3,000 texts written much before 3,000 years. All texts are written in Sanskrit here. One of the phrase you should remember, dhyanam nirvishayam manah. What is meditation or mindfulness? When the mind is devoid of all the contents, that is mindfulness. It came from Master Kapila, who wrote this maybe more than 4,000 years ago. Coming back to the master, so one student said, it is all the text and the knowledge. If the knowledge is not there, how can you teach? Right? So other students said, as Casey was saying, master, teacher, you are the most important. If you cannot give us the knowledge, what do you think? Knowledge in the text is more important than the teacher, or teacher is more important than the text? What's your idea? What's your thinking? Come on.
Text.
Text. Okay. And teacher is not there to teach, then teacher becomes important. So he asked everyone, and he said, no, you did not learn anything from me. So many years. Master said, you as a seeker is the most important. If the seeker is not there, what is the fun of having a text? Books are lying in the shelf, we buy it out of excitement and we forget it. We decorate it. Yeah? If some of our friends come here, yes, I know about these texts. And the same thing happens. I know about that teacher. Oh, weird guy, I know. He's talking. But if I'm not ready, if you are not ready as a student, as a seeker, nothing happens. Do you agree with that, Master?
Yeah.
Not everyone is nodding their head. Do you all agree with that, Master?
Yes.
Well, if you agree with the Master, are you a seeker?
Yes.
Are you a seeker?
Yeah.
You never learned driving, and I ask you, can you drive a car? You say yes. What it means. That is how you say yes, I am a seeker. Seeker, a person should be qualified to become a seeker. Am I right? If I have a driving license, means I have a skill set to drive a car. I know the rules of the road, and then I drive. I should have a driving license. And then only I can become a seeker. If I'm not right, object to it. Raise your hand, ask me a question. Now, if I'm not seeker, will I succeed in mindfulness? If I don't have a driving license, should I and can I drive on the road? We can drive a road, but
maybe you shouldn't.
So in the journey of mindfulness or meditation, there is no should, there is no can. I should have a right skill set. I should have a right understanding. I should become a seeker, and the seeker alone succeeds. Are you getting it? No. Simple. You should have a driving license to drive the car. Two things. So same thing, that I as a person should qualify to become a seeker to succeed in mindfulness. So we will talk about what are those qualifications. One of the qualification, and then we will set an agenda of today as per this file, and we will continue. What is the first qualification? Just give you a glimpse of it. It's a long journey. You see that I'm looking all of you, right? So mind is facing outside. Am I right? When I say that I'm looking at you, mind is facing outside. Am I right? Not only I'm looking at you, not only I'm aware of you, I'm also aware of the studio, the color, the lamp, and everything. Why and how? Mind is facing to the world outside. Clear? So when I become aware the mind is facing to the self, then you are ready. Only one qualification. Mind is not facing to me, mind is facing to yourself. Are you getting it? But what prevents you in your mind facing to the self? Find out. Can you give me some examples?
Distortion.
Distortion where? In the mind.
In the thoughts.
Obviously, whether you say it is in the thought, you're right, perfectly right. So when I face to myself, the mind with its thoughts, and thoughts with the craving, with the passion, with the obsession, pulls me outside. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? So that pulling force of the mind that moves the mind outside is known as impurities in yoga. So what is the second qualification? Purify the mind. The mind is purified. Don't relate impurities with the sin. No, it has nothing to do with the sin. The impurities have to do with the hatred, jealousy, anger, craving, obsession. That pulls the mind outside. And the mind has to face inside. So she rightly used the word distortion in the mind because of the thinking process. When I'm talking to you, your mind is still thinking about it. Thinking of something else. Right? So what is the third factor to become a seeker? Why you have come here? Is your mind clear? Is your mind focused that why? Oh, you don't know why you are here?
You have to learn.
To learn. The mind is 100% with the objective of the workshop, why you have come here. Your mind is not distracted. So normally you can say, a focus in the mind. Focus in the mind. What this guy is talking. How to achieve success there in the meditation. Right? Only I told you the 3 factors. There are other 3 and 4 factors. On the first page, go to this paper. On the first page, remember this. I will not spend too much of time on this. The first verse, what it says. To simplify, Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge, aims at self-discovery that is an objective of mindfulness and meditation. Am I clear? Sense organs, my sense organs, your sense organs are an instrument of knowledge, right, by which we perceive the world. Am I right? I'm making very simple statement. Yeah? You guys are genius and intelligent. So no issue to... Mind and intellect are the instruments of knowledge to create a concept. That is what the science is, to know the material world. I explained about 2 instruments of knowledge. Right? Now I'm repeating. Eastern wisdom, that includes... Keep a smile on the face. I'm not teaching, Why you are so much serious, I'll stop teaching, So there is nothing serious. So now Eastern wisdom, that includes yoga, tantra, Kundalini, mindfulness, meditation is an instrument of knowledge. I use the same instrument of knowledge for sense organs, for mind, right? I'm using this. Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge that reveals my true nature in meditation. So what is the goal of meditation and mindfulness? The knowledge of my true nature. Knowledge of my true nature, knowledge of your true nature is one common element. That is the beauty of the Eastern wisdom. Not two individuals are unique outside, but deep inside there is one common element, that is true nature. So what is the goal of meditation and mindfulness? You keep this in mind. I'm not saying this. Every master is saying this. All 3,000 masters are. They declare what happens in meditation. The knowledge of my true nature is revealed. What is my true nature? It has 5 attributes. Understand simply. Pure awareness cannot be affected by anything outside, cannot be polluted. Pure awareness. Second, truth consciousness. We'll deal with that. Third, wisdom, absolute knowledge. Fourth, love, everlasting love. We love in the material world. We date, we become soulmate, then we marry. After a few years we become sourmate, we divorce, we find happiness again. How to find happiness again? Remarry again. Go through the same process. I'm not saying don't marry. That's your choice. But that is how it happens in our life. Right? So what is this everlasting love? That love manifests from inside you. That is your essential nature. And the 5th attribute is permanent state of happiness. What is that? Ananda. That is known as. So from where we started, do you remember? Eastern wisdom. Can you say that? Is an instrument of knowledge, like sense organs, like mind, that finds the truth in the material world. And Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge that finds the truth of my innermost self. It is a common element. Your true nature and my true nature is common, one. And that true nature has 5 attributes. What are those 5 attributes? Pure awareness, truth consciousness or truth. Third, wisdom or absolute knowledge. Fourth, everlasting love. Not the love between a couple, and it fades away as the year passes. No, it never fades away. It is everlasting love. And the 5th one, permanent state of happiness. Conclusion? Can you draw any conclusion? If you don't think, remember, if you do not contemplate and reflect on these principles, nobody has ever succeeded in mindfulness and meditation. Do you know Buddha has 8-fold noble path? No, at least that much you know, that it has 8-fold noble path. First 6 path is all about thinking and contemplation. The 7th is the practice of mindfulness. Every teacher talks about this. Can I say peace and happiness are my essential nature? Can I say that? Yes. When the mind faces to the self, it leaves the world behind. what happens? We discover peace and happiness are our essential nature. And once you discover that, it is irreversible process. You cannot reverse it. You love any guy or girl outside, it is always a reversible process. No, it doesn't mean that you should not. That's a different thing. Are you clear? So let us go to the second page. I have covered briefly about the second verse, how to become a seeker. That I will continue in between. What is this intensive? What is our true nature? What is real and what is everything else? Casey has created this. So what is everything else and what is real? So meditation is a journey to find out what is real. Why is obtaining a clear understanding of the purpose of the sense organs, the mind and the intellect? I already made it clear, briefly. Sense organs are the instrument of knowledge to perceive the physical world. Mind is an instrument of knowledge to perceive the subtle world. Mind is subtle. I cannot see your thoughts. I cannot see your feelings. Yeah? So that is why it is known as subtle organ. And sense organs are known as physical. Clear? And the Eastern wisdom is the subtlest because it finds your true nature. That is what we are going to do. So, what is the purpose of life and purpose of life? We are going to work on this. Practices that work in our contemporary life. So what you will take away from this intensive? Knowledge of the Eastern wisdom that ends suffering. Most beautiful understanding of entire journey of Eastern wisdom, that once you reach to a higher state of mindfulness and meditation, it brings an end to the suffering. What is suffering? Can you name a couple of them? What is suffering in life? Tell me.
Animal dies.
Yeah, animal.
Depression, sadness.
Yeah. Personal. Leave that animal for a while. Depression, sadness. What else? Anger, hesitation. Anger also hurts me. What else?
Fear, jealousy.
Fear, jealousy. Yes. Worries. Yeah, worries, yes. Should I tell you one thing? If you remember that, and even if you contemplate on that, here I take. I'm hungry, what I do? I take food. Hunger is also a kind of suffering. And I eat food, it brings an end to the suffering. But the mind knows that after an interval, I have to eat again. Right? So this is a problem of the world because body is a part of the world. Right? Now you said me something nasty, for example, today, and the next time we meet, the mind returns to the same stuff. Your body position holds on. Your eyes, your face. You see that? That remains with you in the form of an impression. So I'm just making you aware. One is the existential problem, another is the problem in the world. What is the existential problem? It goes with me. Until I take care of the mind, that worry, that kind of a jealousy, that hatred, that anxiety do not come to an end. They all are included in suffering. Don't start thinking, I have a lot of problem in my relationship, how the meditation can help me. First bring an end to the suffering in your mind and then see how it works. It will work. It has to work. Yes. Question?
Well, just so the existential problems is your mind.
Yes.
In your mind. The
Yes.
world problems.
Problems with the mind, where your emotions. The mind is living in ignorance. And ignorance causes the problem. What is the ignorance? Incomplete knowledge about who am I. What is my true nature? I don't know. And there comes a problem. You're married? You're married?
Married? No.
No, I'm just asking. Just for an example. Who is married? So the moment you are with your honey, then only you are wife to your husband. But what happens if you carry that label, being a wife, in every situation, you are creating a problem to yourself. And that causes the ignorance. That is what she is asking, ignorance. We will work on this. So, what will you take from this intensive? First, personalized, simple, easy, and effective practices. Yes, I will digital delivery of the files. I will send it by email. Minimize or removal of stress and suffering. Discover your true nature. Purpose in life versus purpose of life. Let us go to the third page. I have briefly touched upon it. No, I have created, you have a, on every page I wrote the principle, then you have one page notes by the seeker, disciple, student, or a person. If you are a person, I know what you will write. If you are a seeker, I know what you will write. But I'm not going to check it. Don't worry about it. It is on the journey. So now see that I have covered almost couple of things, but still I will cover. Can you read in your mind? The knowledge of Eastern wisdom is power that liberates one from suffering. Are you clear? We are learning the principle. Huh? Are you clear? I made very clear that Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge. It is an instrument. The way the sense organs is an instrument to see you. Yeah? To understand you, when mind is a subtle instrument. When you express through the thought. And the Eastern wisdom gives you what it gives you. It gives you principles. That helps the mind to face to the self. It gives you steps to do the practice so that you reach to the state of meditation. So in meditation, the knowledge of the reality is revealed. Right? So when the knowledge of the reality is revealed, you start living in permanent peace and happiness, love and wisdom. Did I tell you it is irreversible process? You cannot reverse it. Once you awaken to that. That is why the word awakening is used. Can I give you another example? Until today, I'm not asking you raise how many times you woke up in the morning. How many times you slept. How many times you dreamed. And the life remained the same. Days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months, years after years. Our mind said, if I get married, I'll be happy. Are you happy? If I get money, I'll be happy. Are you happy? If I buy this car, I'll be happy. Are you happy? So what is learning? for so many years, months after months, weeks after weeks, days after days. We woke up every day and still we are the same guy, perhaps more stressed. That is why we say we wake up every day. And what is awakening? So you go into a deeper state of meditation, the entire world outside changes. Your perception changes. Why? Because you have a knowledge of that reality. Now you look at the same honey. Now the love is inside, you express that love. Let honey do not express. Doesn't matter. He doesn't express or she doesn't express, you're still in love. You're still in peace. That is known as awakening. Are you understanding? Are you getting it? Huh? Simple, It's only 3 hours. It takes months and weeks together to learn all these principles. Huh? So, first 3 principles are there. Janati. Janati means to know. Ichhati, to aspire. Karoti, to means to practice. 3 principles. Rules in the mind, whether it is the material world or it is the spiritual world or self-discovery. What is that? First is the right knowledge. You're driving a car, right, on a road, and you saw a luxury car and your mind says, I should have it. If you don't know that car is luxury, you cannot have a desire. First, I should know it. Do you understand that? Right? How many of you, without knowing meditation, started practicing meditation? You know the result. First, you have to have a right knowledge. Are you understanding that? Clear? Huh?
Are you saying that it doesn't do you good if you don't have the right knowledge? Like even meditation, not knowing what you're doing?
So you are practicing, it may give you some byproduct, a little relaxation and a calmness. And then after that you forget it. Because then you have to repeat it like a pill. You don't awaken to the true nature because you don't have the right knowledge. Am I right? Just be very clear. So if you have a right knowledge about the goggles, then only you desire, you buy it and you wear it. For anything, either in the material world, you have a right knowledge about the stocks, which one is going up and down, and then you buy it. Right knowledge. Right?
Right.
So now once you have a right knowledge, then you can have a desire. So here the desire is different. How it is different? Desire for meditation and desire for car. How they are different? Can you tell me? Now we are understanding. We are going into the practice. We'll be going into the practice. So you may write down if you like to write down, but desire to anything outside in the material world. Anything. Desire to possess a car, right? Desire to get married, anything outside, right? And desire to meditate. Can you tell me the difference? If you do not think, if you do not contemplate, if you do not reflect on it, according to the teachings of these great masters, nothing will happen. Yeah, as a byproduct, little bit relaxation. That I can promise you, that you will be relaxed and calm and happiness. Can you tell me the difference?
One is temporary and one is permanent. happiness.
Yes, you are approaching closer. You are approaching closer, and remember this. When you desire for anything in the material world, it means you don't have it. You have to make an effort to acquire it, to possess it and own it. What is the desire for the self-discovery? It is already within you. Are you understanding? Are you getting it? That real I is already within you. What you are doing? You are removing the veil that causing the ignorance. When you remove that veil of the mind, you find the real nature is already within you. You already own it. Are you getting it? See the problem. You don't own the stock. You have to buy it, you have to acquire it. And then you have a fear whether it is going up and down. You don't know. But here, so that desire, we use the term, instead of desire, we say it is an aspire. Let me aspire for myself. So first is the knowledge, second desire, third is the practice. Right? I have already covered about being a seeker. So we will go back. You go to the 5th page. I gave you 5 minutes. There are 20 questions. Right? There are 20 questions, and you have to score them either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5.
Do you have any pens or pencils with you?
Yeah, I have given. Huh? Rachel, you didn't give?
Who needs pens or pencils?
Well, anybody else need a pen?
You already passed it?
See that? You have to score it. First you score, and then sum it, add the score. Don't tell me the score. I will tell you where you stand. So keep that score secret. If you are suffering, then know that you are suffering. And keep a big smile outside on your face. Nobody knows. You know. Read it. Just score it, and then we will go deeper. I'm thinking every half an hour or 40 minutes we'll be going into a deeper practice, and then we'll come back, we'll get the knowledge, we'll contemplate, reflect, we'll go again into the practice. So the practice, knowledge, understanding should go hand in hand. Please do it with a smile on the face, otherwise I'm observing your face. The set of questions. You have understood I have little control or influence over my work. So either you score 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. 5 is always. So like this you answer the 20 questions. So we are understanding once I tell you the score, whether you are a seeker or not, then you will get some clue. But answer honestly. You have to be honest to yourself. I'm not going to ask you to score. Don't worry. You'll not be exposed to others. Privacy, confidentiality. Even if everyone knows about your stressors, your suffering, and still there is a privacy and confidentiality. People know by your face. No privacy. Confidentiality. And if you want to keep confidentiality, never be angry, never go into anxiety, never enter into duality. then I will say, yes, you are keeping that confidentiality.
Girish, when you have that awakening and you enter that permanent state
Yeah.
of love and happiness, what do you feel, or what does like grief or sadness? Those don't exist anymore?
No, they do not exist anymore. Because they exist in the mind living in ignorance. When the mind is awakened, that is why we use the term, mind is awakened. Awakened to what? To your true nature. Yes. Whether 20 people or 50 people are sitting in this room, nothing happens to the space. Let every person leave the room, nothing happens to the space. Nothing happens to the space. Whether you put a triangular lamp or a rectangular lamp, nothing happens to a space. You put the skyscraper and you demolish it, nothing happens to the space. Now guess what kind of a true nature is. It is not affected by anything happening outside. It is a pure state of consciousness. It is your real you. You already have it, you don't know it. That is why we meditate.
What Girish teaches over and over again is anything that is temporary is not real. This comes from Eastern wisdom. So grief passes, anger passes.
Smile on the face.
Your true nature, your
Are you so
values
serious?
never pass. They're always there.
So,
We live there. We live in that.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to think about in life.
So, you completed scoring everyone?
No.
No, okay. Yeah. So you see that? Yes, you asked a very right question and Casey explained it, That is the journey of meditation. Until you are scoring Buddha. We in Sanskrit we say Buddha. And here we say, what we say? Buddha. Yeah? Buddha? So in Sanskrit, Buddha means old. So I speak right Sanskrit. Buddha. So Buddha means old. Very old. So Buddha left the house. He practiced to succeed in meditation and awakening for 17 years. Right? He returned to his home. Now see how people treat the awakened. Is everyone listening? Listening? So Buddha knocked the door. Door was opened. His dad was there. Oh, this guy was suffering, He was doing austerity. Did not get a food to eat. Come on. Come. I'll give you food. I forgive you. Buddha was smiling. His smile was real. And his dad's question was more or less egoistic. Now, I am a king. I have a lot of wealth. So come on, I'll give you. The wife also said, honey, I have seen you undergoing that pleasure with me. You have now remembered. Come on. Come inside. And what Buddha said. That is awakening. I'm answering your question. The more questions you'll ask, you stimulate my mind to I remember those. It comes to me. Buddha said, I have not come here to enter into your kingdom. I have found the true permanent happiness. Dad, honey, follow me. I will show you the path of permanent happiness and wisdom. Only his cousin Ananda followed him. His dad refused. Look at this crazy guy. He's saying that, he will show me permanent happiness. I heard that he was doing austerity. He did not get even the food for a couple of days. Will he show me the path of happiness? This guy? That is why knowledge is necessary. Are you getting it? The right knowledge is necessary. Right? Did you complete? So, those who have a score of 25 and less than 25, don't show any expression. Otherwise, people will come to know. They are the real seekers. Otherwise, you need to qualify. Simple. 20 questions. Now, those who have a score of 35 to 40, mild stress 40 to 50, medium stress above 40, they suffer from intense stress and suffering. Now think, how to become a seeker, how to bring the score down to below 20. How long it takes. As you start becoming a seeker, you start advancing into mindfulness and meditation also. So I'm not asking what is your score, I'm not taking your file. Keep that file secret, write down your name, and work on it to become a seeker.
I think I have to leave.
In the material world, if I'm not a seeker, then what we say, if I'm not capable, if I'm not qualified, then you don't get admission in a university and a college, right? But here, this factor doesn't apply, so you need not to leave. So we have to work on it. We have to work on our mind, we have to work on our life to become a seeker. Why shouldn't you work to lower down your score below 25 instead of leaving and getting more stress? Why you want to fail? You have to succeed.
I was kidding.
So thank you. So in Eastern wisdom we say that no, you need not to leave. Simply understand where you are and start working on your mind to become a seeker. Now, done. We have done this also.
What score means high stress? Was it over 40?
Over 50.
Over 50.
I'm not asking do you have it or not. So you have understood. No, that is a glimpse of it. Normally, in order to qualify to become a seeker, we have 4x4 principles. That I'm not talking. Maybe I'll talk in the second. So go to the 6th page. I have explained this briefly, but I will go to the second para. Understand it clearly. I had a wonderful, beautiful woman who is a Kundalini yoga teacher in New Jersey. 10 years ago. So she became obsessed with the cult dogma belief. I never say to anyone, Don't. If you follow a cult dogma and believe, one thing is clear, you are not a seeker, you are a follower. Difference between follower and seeker, you know? Follower and seeker.
Well, to be a seeker, you would have to comprehend things and be able to make changes. If you're following, you're just doing whatever you're told.
Yes, and there are the 4 principles here on the page number 6. If you want to be a real seeker, the first thing is, I don't know the principle, let me know it. Openly let me know it. You understand? Second is, now I know the principle, but I don't understand it. So, she rightly said, I have to comprehend. I have to understand the principle. Why to understand the principle? Can you give me some answer? Why to understand the principle?
Can't apply it if we don't understand it.
One, beautiful. I can't apply it. If I don't comprehend it, if I don't understand it, the mind continues to create doubt. So, why to comprehend? Why to understand? To have a doubt-free mind. Are you clear? Do you have any doubt where your house is located? That is the reason you always land up to your house, you don't land up to others' house. Doubt-free mind. Doubt-free intellect. That is why we need to comprehend it. We need to open up. We need to ask the questions. Am I teaching from did I create my own principles? The answer is big no. These principles are common principles applied by 3,000 teachers. Their Sanskrit name is different. I'm not talking about it. Because here we are not learning Sanskrit. We are not learning language. We are learning the basic principles. So first thing, I know the principle. I don't know the principle, so let me know the principle. How many principles we have known until now? Can you tell me? Hurry up. I have lot of stress. But what I learned, peace and happiness are my essential nature. So what is opposite? If I have a stress, the stress is a temporary nature. It is my false nature. I can get rid of it. This is a comprehension. See that. But if you say, who doesn't have a stress in the life, you become a philosopher, you are not following the meditation path. Leave it. Many people say to me, oh, do you have stress? Who doesn't have a stress in life? As if you are taking stock of stress of everyone in the world. You see, we do it. How many of you do it? How many of you do it? You see, the journey is totally different. Are you getting it? So first principle, I don't know, let me know the principle as it is. So when I know the principle as it is, I need not to argue at that point. That is how we learned physics. That is how we learned Newton's law of motion. Action and reaction, equal and opposite. That is how our teacher taught us. We did not argue why action and reaction are equal and opposite. That comes at a second stage. Comprehension. I don't understand, let me understand it. Are you getting it? Clear? Mm-hmm. So first is, I don't know, let me know it. I don't understand, let me understand it. Now I have a clarity and a conviction. The doubt-free mind is there. Right? But I don't experience. I understand it. I don't experience. Let me practice it. Practice to experience. Does that make sense? You see, these principles were written 4,000 years ago. Understand their mind, their genius by those masters. Science was not there.
What is it we're trying to understand?
Our true nature.
Which is love and happiness, permanent love.
Permanent love and happiness, pure consciousness, truth. wisdom, love, and happiness. So once I know that my true nature is peace and happiness, will I be ever in stress? Can you make sweet salty? The very nature of the sugar is sweetness. That is why we say sugar, right? Huh? Do you ever find sugar is salty or spicy? So sweetness is an essential nature of sugar. That is what I'm taking. Your essential nature is peace and happiness. Do you believe it? From today? From today. Do you have any question? Yeah? So the first three questions, and the fourth is what is? So when you start the practice, you experience that peace and happiness, but that leaves you after some time. So what should I do? I need a constant and a continuity of the practice with an understanding what is blocking that permanent state of the peace and happiness in my life. You are learning higher principles, you enter into the highest state of mindfulness, and then you reach to that state of awakening. Are you a follower or a seeker? Simultaneously you are becoming a seeker. Simultaneously you are learning. The moment you become a follower, so that beautiful woman had some challenges with his teacher, because now see that I did not tell her, I'm telling you. If I become a follower one day or the other, I have to resist and react to that teacher. Because follower follows blindly. It blinds your intellect, and gradually you are doing the practice, you are comprehending, and your intellect say, no, why the master is saying me to follow me? You resist and react. And then your mind goes totally to the negative. How to prove this teacher is wrong? You are still on a wrong path. You started with a wrong path, you became a follower. So being a follower, you prove how teacher is right. You bring other lot of people, oh, look at my teacher. And if you are a seeker, you follow these four principles. At every time, I don't know, let me know it. What is the principle? Let me understand the principle. Let me know the principle as it is. Second, now let me question it. What, why, who, where, and when. Let me comprehend it. Knowledge is power. You know it? We all know. Knowledge is power. Knowledge becomes power only when you comprehend it. When you really understand it. Am I right? Or wrong?
How do you really understand it if you don't experience it?
That is the third step. So now I have understood it clearly. There is a doubt-free mind. But I don't experience it. Practice it. Third step. So let me practice in order to experience it. So now what will happen? During the practice, that what you have contemplated will continue to remain present in the mind, and every practice you will succeed. You will succeed in every practice.
So where do you start with the practice?
First two principles. Clear? First two principles are clear? Right? So where to start the practice? So let me apply one more principle and then we will practice it, we will return and we will discuss. Right? Moving the mind within. Moving the mind within, living within, and awakening within. These are the 3 steps to a successful meditation. What did I say? Moving within. What to move within? You move the body within, but did you move the mind within? Did you move the mind within? First is move the mind within. Second, live within. Awaken within. Let me translate it at more at the physical level. You moved inside the studio. The traffic is outside. Did you fight with the traffic to move inside? No. You just moved inside. Traffic is still moving on. It is creating a noise, but you are not at all concerned. Isn't it? Or are you concerned? More with the traffic or less with what I'm saying to you? See that? It is so natural. That is why we say mindfulness is natural. I'll continue talking. No, leave it. Leave the paper outside, lie down. Let us do the first practice and then we will concentrate, focus on this great master saying on the page number 7, lie down. We will apply the principle, move within, live within, awaken within. So we should know the art, not art of the deal, but art of moving within, living within, awakening within. Make a deal with your mind. Make a deal with your